What happens when a World Cup match becomes so intense that the players stop playing football and start fighting each other? One match. Two legendary nations. Cards everywhere. Tempers exploding. And a referee who eventually had to show a World Cup record number of cards. This wasn't just a football match. It was chaos. Welcome back to Football Frontier. Today, we're going back to the 2006 FIFA World Cup. To one of the wildest matches the tournament has ever seen. Portugal versus the Netherlands. The stage was the round of 16. The pressure was enormous. One team would advance. The other would go home. Portugal had a talented squad filled with stars. Cristiano Ronaldo. Luis Figo. Deco. Maniche. Ricardo Carvalho. The Netherlands had their own generation of dangerous players. Arjen Robben. Ruud van Nistelrooy. Wesley Sneijder. Robin van Persie. On paper, it looked like a classic European battle. But nobody knew what was coming. From the opening minutes, the match was aggressive. Challenges were flying in. Players were constantly arguing with the referee. And the atmosphere became more intense with every minute. Then, Portugal struck. In the 23rd minute, Maniche received the ball inside the penalty area. He created space and fired a powerful shot into the bottom corner. Portugal were ahead. But instead of calming the match down, the goal made everything worse. The Netherlands pushed forward. Portugal defended desperately. Every challenge became more physical. Every decision became controversial. And then came one of the biggest moments of the match. Cristiano Ronaldo was forced off injured after a heavy challenge. The young Portuguese star was in tears. For Portugal, this wasn't just another injury. It was one of their most important players leaving the biggest match of the tournament. The Netherlands sensed an opportunity. But Portugal refused to collapse. And then, the cards started coming. Yellow cards. More yellow cards. Players were being booked for tackles. For arguing. For pushing. For delaying the game. And eventually, the referee began reaching for his cards almost constantly. The referee was Valentin Ivanov. And he was about to become part of World Cup history. The second half became even more chaotic. Players from both sides were losing their tempers. There were confrontations. Players surrounded the referee. Free kicks were constantly being awarded. And then, a red card changed everything. Portugal's Costinha was sent off after receiving a second yellow card. Portugal were down to 10 men. The Netherlands now had a huge opportunity. But their own discipline was disappearing. Just minutes later, Khalid Boulahrouz was sent off for the Netherlands. Suddenly, both teams were playing with 10 men. And the match became even more unpredictable. But it wasn't finished. Deco was later sent off for Portugal. And Giovanni van Bronckhorst was also dismissed for the Netherlands. For red cards. 16 yellow cards. 20 cards in total. A World Cup record at the time. The match had completely transformed. It was no longer just about tactics. It was about surviving. Every player knew one mistake could end their tournament. The Netherlands kept attacking. Portugal kept defending. And the clock continued to move. The final whistle eventually arrived. Portugal had survived. They won 1-0. But the scoreline doesn't tell the real story. Because this match became famous for something else. It became known as the Battle of Nuremberg. The name captured exactly what happened. A World Cup match that started as a battle between two talented teams turned into one of the most chaotic games football had ever seen. But there is an important lesson here. Football is supposed to be competitive. It's supposed to be emotional. Players are supposed to fight for every ball. But when emotions go too far, the football itself can disappear. That night in Germany, the match became a warning about the fine line between passion and indiscipline. For Portugal, the victory meant a place in the quarter-finals, and their tournament continued. For the Netherlands, their World Cup was over, but the match itself became part of football history. Decades later, fans still remember the tackles, the cards, the arguments, the red cards, and the unbelievable tension. Because sometimes, a World Cup match is remembered for beautiful football. Sometimes, it's remembered for an incredible goal. And sometimes, it's remembered because everything completely fell apart. Portugal versus the Netherlands in 2006 was one of those matches. 20 cards. For red cards. 1 goal. And 90 minutes of absolute chaos. That's why it remains one of the most unforgettable matches in World Cup history. Now tell us, would you call this the craziest World Cup match ever? Or is there another match that deserves the title? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more football documentaries, legendary stories, unforgettable matches, and everything football. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.